Hey guys, I'd like to welcome all the aspiring Instagram photographers from last week. There are about 1,300 of you new guys, so welcome. And like I said last week, I'm going to speak today about one of the things that I do to get better at almost anything. And it's something that we hardly ever do. I've used this technique to become a better YouTuber, entrepreneur, a more socially acceptable human being. I'm awful naturally. I've learned to become a better athlete, guitar skill, and even Instagram, like I did last week. Okay, so I've built up this thing. So what is it? It's getting feedback. In other words, seeking other people's input and opinions in your life. But there are 3 critical things that you need to keep in mind when getting feedback, otherwise you could be wasting your time. So I also wanted to try something new and exciting today. I thought that it would be a really cool idea to animate part of the video. You know, like those Draw My Life videos? Except my hand doesn't really do what my brain tells it to, and so that's why I got help with my dad.
Whoa. Oh, shit.
Let's try it again.
Whoa.
Number 1, ask the right people. If you watch Pop Idol, do you remember how those awful singers are so surprised to hear how bad they are? Why? Because the wrong people told them that they're good at singing. So number 1, make sure you ask the right people. You know, the people who will be honest with you and won't be afraid to criticize you. The other thing is that honesty isn't always enough. So sometimes it can be really helpful to ask the advice or an insight of people who have already walked down a similar journey to you, or people who are experts in the field. Kind of like what I did with Ben last week. Number 2, ask the right questions. Think back to the last time that you were at a restaurant where the manager came around and asked, "Is everything okay here?" Now, unless the food or the waiter was really terrible, we generally say, "Yeah, everything's great." You see, there's one fatal flaw with the way that that question is asked. It ignores the fact that people generally do not like to give negative feedback, especially to your face. But what happens if the manager switched what they said to, if you absolutely had to change one thing about the food or experience here, what would you change? Then suddenly you'd feel like they actually want you to find something that's imperfect, something that they can improve on. And so you'd be more willing to suggest minor improvements. You'd almost feel like you're working together with them to help them improve. So for example, last week with Ben, I didn't go up to him and say, "Hey bro, do you think my photos are really cool?" Instead, I said, what are the specific things that I can do to improve on my photos? And so we went through all my photos and looked at different things and shots, and I learned loads in the process. Number 3, be teachable. I know a story of someone who went around asking the right people the right questions, but anytime anyone gave them negative feedback, they chose to disagree with them and seemed visibly offended. When companies and individuals ignore criticism, they lose touch with reality and stagnate their growth. Similarly for you, unless you actively seek out and encourage good and bad feedback from the right people, you'll miss out on a huge opportunity to accelerate your growth, no matter what you're learning. So the reason that feedback is one of the best ways of improving is because we are often blind to our own weaknesses and strengths that others can blatantly see. So when we seek the advice of others, we're able to more easily identify our own weaknesses and improve on them, as well as identify our strengths and maximize those. So in summary, number 1, ask the right people. You know, the people who will be honest with you. Number 2, ask the right questions so that you'll know that you'll get honest feedback. Number 3, be teachable, so that people will be encouraged to give you feedback and not be afraid. So lastly, I want you to comment with the one thing that you're going to get feedback for this week. And if you're brave, tag the person in the comments as well so that we can see who it is. Otherwise, I'll see you on Sunday at 6 p.m. on YouNow. Okay.